area, and he wants to be.
Windsor Orange District 1, I think,
Yes.
which includes Royalton and Tunbridge.
Yeah, and he was gonna try to do a phone in with you today, but
I think he's with us right now.
oh, maybe.
Bob, you there?
I am here.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure to have you on Aired Out this morning. Thank you so much. What say you about all of this? Were you able to get to Vincent's Battle of the Bands on Saturday?
I was, yeah, and I enjoyed it. I brought some friends up from Massachusetts, and they said it was the best pig roast they'd ever been to.
Yeah, what an experience, man. The music, I mean, everything about it was unbelievable. It was full of love, full of joy, full of great music and drink and everything, but a bigger message here, and it goes beyond just awareness. Are we being tough enough in Vermont on the battle against opioid use, overuse, addiction, and how can we do something to prevent the drugs from infiltrating our state at the level that they are?
Well, I don't think we're doing enough, mainly because I think we're a little soft on crime in general in Vermont. I mean, that's just my opinion, but if you're bringing in drugs that have a very high kill ratio. I mean, I'm on the fire department. I've been an EMT. We do special training just for those instances where we come across somebody who's overdosed on fentanyl. And we have to be careful in touching and handling the person that we're working with, because that can infect us as well, right
Yeah.
through the skin. So that stuff is so potent, so vile that it doesn't take much to kill somebody. And if you're, in my opinion, if you're bringing that to somebody with the intent to give it to them with or without their knowledge, that you're trying to kill that person. I mean, you know that the consequences can be that that person will die. And so I think there needs to be a higher penalty for that that's enforced.
Yeah. What is currently in place for something like this? Anything?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I think there is some penalties, but I don't think I'm certain they're not severe enough. I mean, I can look it up real quick, the Vermont consequences, Vermont law regarding fentanyl, but I've talked to, I have other friends whose children have died from the same thing. And yeah, so some people will say, well, this person was taking drugs anyway, so they're not harmless in this, or they can't be held harmless. That might be true, but that person may not know that there's been something else added to it that could kill them.
Yeah. It's and Joshua Lake, who's running for sheriff, Windsor County, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I asked him point blank, "Is this murder?" And he didn't even hesitate. He was like, "Absolutely, it is." But he also recognized we got some real problems in some of our corridors coming into Vermont. And it's not just 91 North out of Springfield and Hartford. I'm not sure what we need to do here in Vermont. Josh says, and I've had a few other people on the air here who have echoed the same sentiment, that the only way to really get a grip on this is to destroy the market, essentially.
The customers.
How
And,
do you? I'm sorry. Go
yeah,
ahead.
no, please, Bob, go right ahead.
So I guess my next question would be, how do you destroy the customers? I mean, using that term
Yeah,
in the market. The problem is that people have addictions. Everybody has addictions. Whatever it is, everybody has an addiction. It could be caffeine, it could be whatever.
sure.
And
Gambling,
gambling,
anything.
all of it's bad.
Cigarettes.
Work.
Yeah, exactly.
So once we acknowledge that we all suffer from something along the line of addiction, then maybe we can be a little bit more compassionate toward the person who has addictions towards things that can actually kill them more quickly. And yeah, so education, I think parents need more involvement with their kids. I think there's all kinds of things that go into that to help keep them from going down that road to begin with. But my issue is with the person who knows that they have this addiction and use that to gain an advantage over them or to put them in harm's way. There are some drugs that are so addictive that all you have to do is have it once and you're hooked. And there are people who will go out and try to get you that drug with or without your knowledge so that you become a customer. So how do we stop that from happening, I guess, would be the question.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and Joshua Lake was hitting on some of these things too. Destroying the market is a multi-tier effort. Man, it's huge, and prevention is just one of them. Small piece of the pie, but in a very important one too. It's like we got to start at the root and be better parents, better community members. We have to better law enforcement. We have to look out for one another. We have to get, like Joshua was saying, look at the sports communities. We have families. We have people in our community that are pushing for athletic departments and for kids to get into basketball and softball and soccer, and the community is tight, and they bang.
Don't forget track. Don't forget track.
And
I'm a track coach.
Of course, track. Yes, track.
No, I'm just giving you a hard time. But
yeah, track and field. Yeah, absolutely. It's like, but look at how dialed in this community is, and how they all support each other, and they push each other and encourage each other, and there's a sense of camaraderie that's very, very strong. We need to do that for our community. If we have a friend or a friend of a friend who is going down a road, we need to try to help them get off of that road and get on a better road.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to give a shout out, first of all, to law enforcement. I know quite a few people that are on law enforcement. They're doing a great job. They're doing the best they can. But what they're up against, I think, a little bit is that the state tends to catch and release really quickly. And so they could put on these books all these tough consequences for trafficking and possessing. But if the cops arrest them and then they're sent right out, back on the streets, there's no consequence. They're maybe the consequences on the books, but what is the reality of whether those consequences? I mean, I have friends, I know people who are very frustrated with the idea that, so-and-so got arrested again for distributing, but they're back out on the street the next day.
And that's where we need mandatory sentencing, and they have to be strong, and that's the main backbone of the law that I would like to present. And we need to take this out of the judge's hands and not give them the ability to catch and release anymore, because they're literally killing other people in our community by letting them go back out. And in my opinion, that is absolutely key in this new law.
Bob, what do you say to other politicians that are campaigning right now, that are running, or politicians in our Vermont legislature right now who may not look at this issue. And I know, Bob, we could talk about Act 181 all day. We could talk about lowering taxes and state spending and stuff like that. I know that we've got a lot of challenges. But what do you say to Vermont politicians running or already in office that don't have this issue of our opioid crisis in this little, tiny, beautiful New England state, that they don't have this as one of their top 3 priorities?
Maybe they ought to spend more time maybe doing ride-alongs with ambulance companies. But they need to understand that drugs are nonpartisan. There's nothing partisan about fentanyl. It'll kill anybody, regardless of what they wear for a label. And unless we as a community gather together and put that partisan crap aside and say, look, we've got a problem. How can we work together to resolve this problem? Part of the problem is that we have divisiveness. And so, our judges may be more left-wing leaning than some of the people who want them to be. And they make, I don't know. I don't know all the answers, but I do know that partisanship is going to destroy us as a state if we don't. And that's with all issues. We all breathe the same air. We all drink the same water. We all enjoy the same scenery. And a lot of us are related. So we need to realize that the big issues that are killing our friends and our kids are bigger than the partisan. Get out on the street, talk to people, and learn what their stories are. Don't isolate yourself from it. You can't isolate yourself from it. You have to be a part of the community to be able to represent the community.
We just got a comment here. The judicial system and the correctional systems here in Vermont are terrible.
Yeah.
What do you say, Vinny?
I mean, it's absolutely horrible. I mean, because I've spoke with law enforcement and actually a person related to me has a job as a manager of a convenience store, and she actually speaks to the law enforcement officers on a daily basis. I mean, she's almost like friends with them all. And they all say the same thing. They're like, we finally do the right thing. We finally get a bust. And a week later, they see the same person on the street. And that's like very demoralizing for the law enforcement. But also, I mean, we got to start looking at this. This is a threat to society. Like, it's that serious. I mean, in my opinion, you could call it a weapon of mass destruction, if you want to call it that. And we're not looking at it like that. It's like everybody's got blinders on, and there's a word game going on where they just call it, oh, it's just another overdose. And somehow by just saying it's just another overdose and not even having a law that is for that overdose victim is, I don't even know how it's possible. I don't even understand it. I mean, to be serious about it, I'm not no legal expert, but I can use common sense and know that, we have to change the laws. The cops have to be unhandcuffed so they can do their job. And when they do their job, they need to get a attaboy or a victory in court. It's...
a comment here and I know, Bob, the primary's coming up August 11th, which is pretty much tomorrow. And there's a lot of stuff that needs to be talked about with regard to Vermont. One of the comments that just came in is, I think a lot of people, especially those in power, think that it runs too deep and there's too much to try and fix. But if we just all came together and put our foot down as a collective community and start treating it like the crisis that it actually is, it can be possible.
It's perfectly said.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
What say you, Bob?
No, I agree. If we keep electing the same people, we're going to get the same results. And I'm not. I don't walk on water by any means, but I am very outspoken, and I'm in your face. I mean, if I see something that's not just, I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to raise hell over it. And so they're right. The community needs to get together. Uh, One person's death from an overdose could be anybody's.
Yeah.
And I know they talk about how, well, that guy was a drug addict or he's done drugs or whatever. Well, first of all, I'd like to ask who in this state hasn't done drugs at least once. There's not very many people overall. And it's not a matter of whether you do drugs once, twice, 3 times, 10 times. It's a matter of, did somebody put something in there that you weren't aware of that's going to kill you?
Yeah, it's poisoning.
No.
And it's more about, for these some of these people, it's more about money. If I can get you addicted to something, I'm going to make money. And it's a game all across the board. McDonald's does it with their food flavors. Coca-Cola does it with, I mean, Coca-Cola used to put cocaine in their Coke.
Right.
You know, it's the way it works. And if we can educate each other and say, look, going down this road is going to result in this. We got to educate our kids from day one in school all the way through. And then we've got to back up the law enforcement. We've got to support them. We've got to thank them, and we've got to find judges that will put the people that are doing this away so that the cops don't have to keep arresting the same people over and over again and take up their time and effort off of other things that are important.
Amen. That was beautifully said. You know, Bob, I've got a little girl, and I've had friends, I've had people at her school, teachers, say to me, man, you got to be paying attention. Don't live in a bubble. Don't think that it's not going to, that your kid's not going to be faced with this in some capacity. You better. If you got your head in the sand and you think that all is good and clear and you don't have anything to worry about, you're missing the boat here, man. Keep your freaking eyes wide open is what I've been told as a dad.
That's great advice. And I'm a grandfather, so I raised 8 kids, and thank God none of them got into drugs. But I have 12 grandkids, and I have this conversation with them every time I see them. I have the conversation when they start school. We talk about the drugs. We talk about the alcohol. We talk about all this stuff. And then I make them swear with me, a pinky swear, you're not going to get into this stuff. And then every time I see them, I interview them and I say, are you keeping your promise to me? You have no idea as a parent or as a grandparent how much influence you have over your kids. And that's what it takes. You've got to have these conversations, because if you don't, somebody else is going to.
Bob, what you just said is the beginning of the beginning, according to Joshua Lake,
Yep.
of destroying the market.
Yes.
That's the very beginning.
That's the root of it right there.
That is the very beginning. I'm so glad you just said that.
That's a soundbite right there. I mean, that was perfectly said. Bob, listen, you got a microphone that's live and waiting for you anytime you want over here, man.
Well, I appreciate that.
Thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate you so much.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. And good luck, and let me know what I can do to help out. I'm a loud speaker. I have a loud voice, and I have strong opinions about this. But I have kids that I love. I have neighbors' kids that I love. We got to work together to stop this.
Wow. Thanks, Bob.
All right, take it easy. Have a good one.
That's the kind of guy right there you want in your corner, man.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Amazing.
These are the people we got.
Has Josh had a chance to meet Bob?
I don't know if they brush paths on, during Saturday's event. They may have, but they should,
Yeah.
right?
What you're doing, Vinny, is you're doing exactly what you said you were going to do.
Yeah.